ya juma kakla in theory.
Well, so quite frankly, that is the situation that exists at the Pantan landfill site. There's going to be more focus there to unravel the situation because if you recall, there's been a directive that that particular landfill site should be closed down, but it still is operating. But let's still stay a bit further with issues of sanitation because over the weekend, the Well Toilet Day was observed globally, and community members of Amasaman are competing with about 1,600 school children of the Amasaman cluster of schools in the use of a 9-hole KVIP, which is supposed to be the place of convenience for the school. Now, the schools are the Amasaman MA 1 and 2 primary schools and the Amasaman Junior High School 1 and 2. Now, 32 News indeed visited the area to ascertain some further detail into this issue.
It was a sight of surprise to find some students struggling with members of the public at the Amasaman municipality to find a place of convenience for themselves. The toilet was built to be used by the students of the school but has been literally taken over by the members of the community, as if to say the situation has been formalized and agreed on by the authorities of the school. Members of the Amasaman municipality who patronize the toilet facility are charged 30 pesos, which is double the previous price of 15 pesos. When the news team visited the area, it was realized that the facility was in a very poor state. Patrons of the toilet are given old newspapers to clean up when they finish relieving themselves. Notwithstanding the appalling condition, provision has not been made for toilets in a new 3-classroom block that has been put up for the children by the Amasaman Municipal Assembly. In an interview with the head teacher of the Amasaman MA2 primary school, Mrs. Stella Latte, on why the new building had no toilet facilities, she said it was not included in the architectural design. On whether the over 60 teachers of the cluster also use the facility, Mrs. Latte said teachers have to run to use the hospital's facilities when they have to attend to the call of nature. The Amasaman Hospital is next to the cluster of schools.
Well, we have this challenge of the compound not walled, so people just walk in and then they make use of the KVIP. It got to a point we spoke to the PTA that the way the toilet is being used is not the best, and therefore we had a meeting, and out of the meeting it was decided that if when we are out of school the public will use it, then it's better we commercialize it. In order to keep the place, because the way the place was too bad for our pupils to use. So the people were not even willing to go there. So we had to contract somebody to be there and then keep the place neat. And that is how come the public is using the toilet.
The Director of Education for the municipality, Mr. Daniel Budu Asiedu, however, told Joshua Opoku, our reporter who visited the place, that the issue of toilets for the schools will be solved once some African Development Bank funded classroom block projects were completed. He said the projects, 9 in all for the Ga West Municipal Assembly, were being undertaken by the contractors for the Pokwasi Awoshi Road as part of their corporate social responsibility to communities along the road.
Unfortunately, for some time now, the designs for our schools don't have washrooms attached. They just built 6-classroom block, office, store. That's all. So you either get the PTA or the school building. Normally what they do is urinals, because toilets are a bit expensive to construct. Fortunately for that cluster of schools, there was a program by Action Aid that gave them a 6-unit KVIP. Definitely it wasn't enough, but it came to relieve them of that problem of having toilets in particular. Unfortunately for us, we have the community. We have the community also, I won't say trespassing, because they feel that the school belongs to them. So they also come to use the place.
Please, before you continue, is the place for the community or is purposely
for the school? It's for the school, you know. But members of the community were also using it.
Work on the project, which commenced in February this year and are to be completed in February 2015, were however found to be at a crawling pace. Some of the teachers the news team approached refused to talk on camera, but as at the time the news team was leaving the Amasaman MA project site, it was still at the foundation level.
So this is the very suggestion they give. 2 weeks, the children won't pay members of the community because you can't stop them. When you are in school, you see, there is this policy of, if you get to a school and they have a day watchman or a night watchman, then it's the parents who are paying for it. You know? So what about communities where they will say, we can only get a night watchman, no day watchman? And even that, one watchman, can he prevent about 4 people? And so that is a situation at the Amasaman cluster of schools, and we've been receiving a lot of responses from the Ministry of Education on this particular issue. Now, let's spread our tentacles beyond the borders of the Accra region now. And fishmongers along the Ningo Pram Pram beach have attributed the low patronage of their fish by customers to a shift in focus of most families to invest in the well-being of their children and the plummeting nature of the Ghanaian city, which is taking a toll on people's economic spending. Now, the women also lamented the lack of commitment on the part of the Member of Parliament for the area, Honorable Enoch Taimensa, for not fulfilling his promise of constructing a fish market for them. Bright Jaka visited the Ningo Pram Pram beach and has come through with this report.
This woman, who gave her name as Na Hajianaki, told me she is the leader of all fish sellers in Pram Pram. She said their problems are in twofold: the one against the MP of the area, as well as low sales they have been recording since the city plummeted. She said during the 2012 elections, they were promised by the NP that a proper market will be constructed for them where they can operate. As at now, Madam Nanaki told me that they have to make do with these makeshift shades, which cannot accommodate all of them. She said in the event of downpour, they have to abandon their wares and seek refuge under the fishing boats at the shore. Some of the women were seen processing their fish in the unhygienic sand before selling them to unsuspecting customers. Madam Nanaki said patronage has been so low due to the current state of the economy, and parents also have to spend the small they have on their wards tuition fees as well as buying of books and other learning materials.
We are in the hands of the Lord, though. These days, customers hardly come to buy from us, so we have to keep it in our fridge, or sometimes we have to buy ice cubes to keep them safe. These ones here I have to buy ice blocks and put on them before I can get some buyers. By His grace, maybe this evening I'll sell some.
Well,
we don't know. We are suspecting it is because this is the first term and parents have spent their money buying books. That may be the reason why everything seemed dry. But we hope that things will move well for us. We are just hoping.
I also asked Madame Nanaki to tell us the names of the different kinds of fishes she had on display. She revealed to us some interesting names. The sea is truly home to wonderful and fearful creatures.
With the way your friend is, where the alon take kumpa, where you no one in a chole, coco one. Your friend coco one. Where move fantafor, no move friend sangwa, and what Pomudi and in a skaska. In a chole, chiaboli. Your friend Chiaboli, your plum as a Chiaboli, but you would minimum Buamuchen, where your friend Etopos, Atrana, well, we are Bubla, what all Atrana, she bravo maker, Otopos. Ene Okbolo, Ene Tantra, Ene Tantrani, Ene Chole. Oh, Javi. Moko, Baba. No. Show me why. She nyechola angwa. Fantefuosa angwa. Enya room dia we ya pomu dia. Iti akati pa na eda hon. Ya di frame pomu na eba e. Tantra agbochokpo yo jeme. Mpomu ya di ninya afi mpomu na eba e. We ya ableku. Bu onu. Okay, ni nyina dia me di frame amuma 450. Ndi to ni nyina sa na u to ba. Mi to ni ba ko we ba ti se u be to ani mi enu nu ye 2 cedi.
So that's what goes on at the Pram Beach. Very interesting names for some creatures of the sea there. But away from that, medical doctors across the country are threatening to resign en masse if the service conditions are not improved in 7 months. Now, the doctors say the only benefit they're enjoying now is a 2-week mortuary service.
Government an ultimatum of 30th June 2015 to comprehensively review their service conditions or they leave the health profession entirely. Dr. Frank Serebour, General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, said that their conditions of service are unacceptable. He is quoted as saying, "We have indicated clearly that we work in the health sector and we don't have conditions of service. The only condition of service that people in the health sector have, which is not even written, is that when you die, you get 2 weeks of mortuary services. So we have come to the conclusion that we are going to give government up to 30th of June 2015 to sort this out, beyond which all doctors who are affected, we will declare ourselves unemployed," Dr. Serebour said.
So we'll be getting some more details from the Ghana Medical Association very shortly about this threat of mass strike that they have indeed threatened in the next 7 months if nothing is done about their conditions of service. But still staying with health, every year almost 2,000 women are diagnosed with cervical cancer in Ghana, and out of that total about 1,500 die from it. Despite efforts to reduce and educate the population in the care of the disease, the #1 killer is still on the rise. First to News spoke to Dr. Kelvin also of the Optimal Care Diagnostics to find out the symptoms of the disease, how to get tested, and measures to prevent it completely.
Cervical cancer occurs when abnormal cells in the cervix grow out of control. The cervix is the lower part of the uterus that opens into the vagina. Cervical cancer can often be successfully treated when it's found early. Ghana has taken giant steps towards preventing cervical cancer in the country. Young girls between the ages of 9 and 13 are going to benefit from a human papillomavirus (HPV) immunization exercise that would protect them against the possibility of acquiring cervical cancer. Testing centers have become part of most medical facilities, but despite the efforts being put in by beneficiaries of the health sector, cervical cancer still remains one of the top killers of women in the country, with a whopping 1,500 women dying annually from the disease. The news team hit the streets to find out what the public knows about cervical cancer.
I've not experienced it, and what I learned is when you hold the breast and there's something like a ball in the breast, it's like the symptoms of the cancer. I've not experienced it. I've not seen somebody who is having it. I only hear it.
Yeah, I've heard about it, but I think I don't know the cause of it, and I don't know how. But I heard about it. Very, very risky. Very risky. But I don't know what goes into it. If it's about people and piercing their in code clitoris and it leads up to those kind of cancers, I don't know. But I think it's something that is in town, but I don't know the cause of it.
First Digital News team also spoke to Dr. Kelvin Owusu of the Optima Care Diagnostics to find out what causes cervical cancer and how it can be treated.
So cervical cancer, or cancer of the cervix, is, as the name suggests, cancer of the cervix. And the cervix is the mouth of the womb. So that's the part of the womb that actually keeps the baby in, so that when the baby doesn't fall out prematurely. And that's the part where if the cancer occurs at, then we call it cancer of the cervix. And it's a part of the body that's is hidden away. You know, people, you can't see your cervix, so that's one of the things that make detection of the cervical cancer quite difficult. So a lot of people are reporting to us when it's late and we can't do anything about it. You know, but then thankfully there's the pap smear, which is a test that can actually pick up early changes, so that you can treat the people even before they develop the cancer. So you go in, you have a pap smear done, and then the results will come and tell us this patient has or is at risk of developing cancer. And so based on that result, we can actually do intervention and prevent the development of the cancer. You know, so that's basically what it is. You know, and there's this thing that cervical cancer is actually the only cancer that is arguably entirely preventable. I don't know if that makes sense. You can entirely prevent cervical cancer, and that's because it's caused by a virus called human papillomavirus, HPV. And this virus is sexually transmitted. So if you actually do safe sexual practices, and by that I'm referring to abstinence, being faithful, and also using a condom, if you're able to do these things, you can actually prevent yourself from acquiring the cancer.
So that's a bit of some education there for you, man. So watching the news here on First TV. We'll be back shortly. So this very quick break with some more stories. Don't go away.
Like us on Facebook at First Digital TV. I love you, you love me.
This is Nane Foa. She's thinking about how to cover her university education in the future. Mr. Sari is so confused about how to list his company on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Atta is a organizer and is wondering how to expand his business someday.
Do you want to buy shares on the Ghana Stock Exchange? Or probably sell your shares? Are you interested in investing in treasury bills? Have you been thinking about listing your company on the Ghana Stock Exchange? Talk to GN Investment today. You can reach GN Investment on 030-9788-3819.
Efua's parents learned from GN Investment how they can invest money to pay for her university tuition. GN Investment helps Mr. Sari with market research, company valuation and how to list his company on the Ghana Stock Exchange. GN Investments visits Atta and advises him on how to grow his small business.
At GN Investments, we proudly say that we invest with discipline.
All right, you're welcome back to your news show on First TV. Now, some local manufacturers of woodworks and furniture have expressed displeasure at the country's parliament for awarding Messrs. China State Hualong Construction Limited a 16 million Ghana cedis contract to refurbish parliament, especially just for the chairs. Now, according to them, government has over the years done nothing to revamp the woodwork industry. They added that, unlike the imported furniture, the local furniture is of high quality. Marito Fori visited the workshop of some woodworkers to have a chat with them.
Contrary to its decision to promote and patronize made in Ghana products, Parliament's refurbishment, which cost over 16 million Ghana cedis of imported furniture, has received serious backlash from local manufacturers. Local woodworkers have said that this act of double standards by government will go a long way to impact negatively on the livelihood of Ghanaians in the woodworks industry. Already, the importation of furniture, among other things, has greatly affected the patronage of made-in-Ghana products. In Parliament, virtually all the old facilities in the chamber since the first Parliament of the Fourth Republic have been replaced with new ones by China State Hualong Construction Limited, the company that won the bid to refurbish the house. In an interview with some local manufacturers of woodworks, they said government has gone contrary to its decision and have over the years neglected the woodwork industry. According to them, they can produce the best of furniture with the needed support by government.
By price, ono omuye manu no kra no ma me say news metimi na quality asene sa ba ya ni nim de ntia omumu ye Ghana carpenters no adwuma ne de nim ba je say yo monto ya de ndi de me ka kire Ghana for ne say adwuma na ye no ye no quality na adwuma no ba sa wo pe no wo pe say nye shem ti say China made na moto na e betimi aye ndi no de wo pe no ba na wo kire nipa na wo be ya ama sene say ye bisi kwa na monto na moto amanfo de e basa na emwa
ha me na me ka se e wose nko mutumi ma omoye no ha omo eye che no wa ha a ombetumi aya ma na efe so ho obetumi akra ne ma na ba na omo carpenter for no eden aye so ho pastor sankonwa we abegu enkonwa na enye no nyina na ye o se aye obi wo ha o tena so enche na abu so na leather no so no leather no wanya quality one enche na asai aye nti aban no mommoa because say e bre utu wani amrantu agukrom saa aban no omie bi enwuma e ma omunya bi ye so otumi ye saa de no na eboa ti konwa de oso mutumi modu wa ha.
Well, for me, I'm not surprised because I've been interviewed some time ago, and when they were making noise about made in Ghana use, especially furniture, I was in doubt that that decision can be implemented. I was interviewing one of the media houses, and I told them, fine, it's a good idea, but the implementation is the problem. And here we are, the parliament itself, look at where they are going. So how can we sustain the industry in Ghana? It's a serious issue. We can do the best thing. But it's just that we are not being encouraged because there are some machines that, as I've said earlier, one person cannot buy. It is the government who can purchase it maybe when we come together, he purchases it for us.
As to why the patronage of imported furniture is booming, they said the cost of producing local furniture was high.
Oh, foreign one, because nipa ne ba se na make no, wonya ne less. But for a local one, no, ya ne born no, mo be wie na born no too high. But foreign they are less. And the finishing is so effective.
Papa Yusu sapale, redwood, mahogany. Ena your friend say bia white we say ni afdali bia papa and Yusu. But I say a man for to China wine because of rubber no they found be no sawdust na you twa to go a shin no. Sa sawdust no more de glue a place no more the rubber afa ho. Because of say shem nti no. Omoto ba de na papa no monto. So be adwuma ne de eni Ghana niema ne ntimi hu ne nti a omompe. So niema ne de ye ne papa se ni China de no. Ba je say Bruni bibini adwen Bruni ade ne papa ne ato ye de na agu.
This is dying because
who want to have voluntary contributions to enhance their pension benefits, as well as workers in the informal sector. The first-year basic National Social Security Scheme will be managed by a reconstructed SSNIT.
Pension Tips is brought to you by PenTrust. Call them for all your Tier 2 and 3 pension plans on 0302 901 500 or 0501 291 030. PenTrust, discipline.
Let's now go for some business news. And in Business Evening, Trade and Industry Minister Ecclesfield Gabriel has warned investors to be cautious of middlemen who claim to have connections to facilitate meetings with government. According to him, the open door policy adopted by government makes it possible for anyone interested in investing in the country to do so without intermediaries.
Addressing a recent investment meeting in the United Kingdom, UK, Mr. Garba said the practice where investors insist on seeing the president before they commence business must stop. He said investors should on their own be willing to see ministers who operate an open door policy and will be ready at all times to address their needs without having to go through any middleman. One major concern which came up during the discussions was the long delay associated with the clearing of goods at the Tema port, but Mr. Gabra assured that the measures are underway to expand the port. He said procedures are underway to expand the port in the coming years to allow more ships to come in and put in more systems to enable officials do a faster job than is currently being done.
Now, Ghana's largest and prominent real estate company, Deftraco Limited, has emerged the ultimate winner of the 7th edition of the Ghana Property Awards 2014 held in Accra over the weekend. With a massive turn-up of local and international construction firms, the event commenced with a welcome address by Dr. Alex Twideboah, who is the chairman of the Ghana Property Awards. Other companies received honors in diverse categories for their contributions in the housing sector.
Dr. Twideboah, in his open address, said the construction sector is the economic engine for the growth of the country. He also mentioned that new initiatives in the real estate sector are being explored through public-private partnership to ensure that average Ghanaian worker can afford a decent housing unit. On her part, the director of Ghana Property Awards, Irene Ajinkwa, stated that lack of resources, despite brilliant initiatives for the industry, are some of the key challenges hampering the growth of the sector. According to Madam Ajinkwa, other challenges that confront the sector include difficulty in accessing funds, interrupted power supply, high interest rates, high taxes imposed on imported materials, among others. This, she said, needs urgent stakeholders' attention to address them in order to enable estate companies construct very affordable housing units to help put roofs on the heads of many Ghanaians. Mr. Johnny Osekofi, Deputy Minister of Water Resources, Works and Housing, addressing the gathering, said infrastructure demands currently in the country far exceeds the available housing needs of the people. According to statistics, Mr. Osekofi said housing deficit in the country currently is in excess of 1.7 billion and therefore called on investors to help salvage the situation. The minister also observed that government remains committed in providing adequate, safe and affordable housing to all and urged private sector to take advantage of the policies to help solve this quandary.
Collaborate as private and public sectors to mobilize the needed resources for our infrastructure needs. Given the huge deficit, our ministry is making conscious efforts to attract investors who are interested in engaging in PPP in the development of housing units for low-income earners. The reasons for this state of affairs are not far-fetched. A walk through places like Cantonments, Laboni, Ridge, Zolo, and airport residential areas shows plush apartments springing up all over. While they look nice, the question we need to ask ourselves is, how many of our people can buy or rent such properties? No wonder a good number of them are empty, with many of our people living in slums. We think that this is not right. Everybody, regardless of their income status, deserve a decent place to call a home that they can go to rest after a day's hard work. We are happy to inform you that the draft National Housing Policy has been completed and submitted to Cabinet for approval. The overall goal of this policy is to provide adequate, safe, decent, and affordable housing that is accessible and sustainable.
In an exclusive interview with First Digital News, Head of E-Banking and Relationship Management of GN Bank, Hilda Irene Nkansa, she outlined reasons why the bank decided to be one of the headline sponsors of the award.
If you look at the construction industry, it is capital intensive, and therefore definitely they'll be working with the financial institutions that will support their projects, and that was exactly what we were doing. Most of the contractors and the developers are actually our customers, and so we are like the backbone to support them financially for the project. And so even though we are not directly into developing, as I said, we support them. And so this night, as they are celebrating, we share that same vision and share the feeling of success with them, because we know our support has pushed them this far. Obviously, when we were savings and loans, most of their equipment for construction are imported, and so that pushes us to deal directly with the forex trading and others. But our status as savings and loans, we're not able to do it directly. We had to do it care of or through other banks. Now that we are a bank, what it means is that we are ready to provide the same service more effectively and faster, because we are going to do it directly with the forex dealings and then the trading finance, to be able to support them by their foreign payments of the bank guarantees, and then establish LCs and then those bonds. So it is an opportunity for us to perform better than we used to be, even before we became a bank.
We cross over into the studios of Sports 24. Kosiamo comes through with some news in the world of sports.
You're welcome to the sports segment of the news with me, Akosiabo. On to my first story this evening. President of the Ghana Football Association, Kwesi Nyantakyi, has revealed that league clubs will take part in a competition to keep them active as they await the start of the local league season. An injunction served by King Faisal Football Club on the GFA's Congress has kept the league from commencing, and the delay has extended into its second month. Kwesi Nyantakyi said at a press conference on Friday the GFA was working on organizing a competition for the club so they could remain in good form for the league when it starts. The Ghana Football Association has put in place a 3-man committee to come out with a proposal on a competition to keep clubs busy while the court case is going on. On the issues of the league delays, Nyantakyi said the GFA will meet Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Georgina Wood, on Monday to find a judge to sit on the case involving the Ghana Football Association and King Faisal. The GFA sent a petition to the Chief Justice on 4th November, which highlighted the fact that King Faisal already had 4 cases in court against the Football Association, and the meeting on Wednesday will plead with the Chief Justice to find a way of resolving the issues between the Ghana Football Association and King Faisal. Well, away from that to some other stories, Morocco has maintained their stance in requesting for a postponement in the date to host the 30th edition of the Orange Cup of Nations from January 2015 to 2016 due to fears over the spreading of Ebola crisis. The Confederation of African Football recently decided to stick with the original dates for the 2015 African Nations Cup, January 17 to February 8, 2015, and asked the Royal Moroccan Football Federation to clarify the final position of Morocco not later than November 8, 2014. On Saturday, the Royal Kingdom of Morocco Ministry for Youth and Sports has released a statement maintaining the country's decision not to host the AFCON on the original date but in 2016. In response to the letter of November 3, 2014, addressed by CAF on the Moroccan authorities, and a meeting the same day between the Ministry of Youth and Sports, CAF, and the relative FRMF, decision of CAF is to maintain the 2015 Orange competition on the date initially evidenced, either from 17 January to 8 February 2015. The Kingdom of Morocco maintains its request for postponement of the CAN Orange 2015 to 2016. The statement, originally written in French and translated, the Northern African nation is however ready to host the FIFA Cup in December. CAF Executive Committee is scheduled to meet in Cairo next week Tuesday to mull over Morocco's rejection and the way forward. Nigeria and Angola are believed to be the African Football Governing Body alternatives hosts. So that's it for sports this evening with me, Akosiamo, from the studios of Sports 24. Entertainment news is up next. Please do stay.
Good evening and welcome to the entertainment segment of the news. My name is Grace Hamwa Asari. Now moving on to our first story, heavyweight rapper Sarkodie has teamed up with Stila music label Inshona Music to offer 2000 Degrees, a song in the hip-hop vein.
Sarkodie chooses to go pacey on this track, exuding so much confidence as he delivers his lines, telling the world that he is here to stay, noting that his gains in the industry are no fluke. Sarkodie lets his thoughts be clearly known when he discloses, "We be leaders, then be followers, and I would rather be a than a swallower," adding his rhymes are so sick that Tupac they listen to my flow for Nissan pickup. Inshona Music provides sizzling beats for the man to ride on in addition to the loud chorus.
Now, moving on, female musician Tiffany, born Tiffany Osu, has condemned in no uncertain terms the circulation of sexually explicit videos involving her and her ex-husband. According to the Faith London Warhead singer, the unfortunate development is a desperate attempt by her bitter ex-husband to hurt her.
2 of the videos, she said, were recorded while she was legally married to her ex-husband, name withheld, and she's utterly shocked that the father of her child would do such a disgusting thing. Speaking exclusively on the matter on Rhythms A to Z with Mama V Owusu Abuaji Saturday on Joy FM, it's Tiffany confirmed the authenticity of the videos. "It is me, no denying about that. A video that was shot 6 years ago with my ex-husband. I was engaged to him. I have a child for him. And sadly, he has been able to keep the video for 6 years and wants to do what he is doing, but forgetting that we have a baby together. He is just not disgracing me, he is disgracing himself and his family," the bubbly musician lamented. It's Tiffany rendered an unqualified apology to Ghanaians and described the development as sad and mad. She suspects the estranged husband is releasing the videos because we've been battling for custody of the boy for a while now. "My son is in the UK. He has my son. There is a thin line between love and hate, but he told me he would do it, but I never ever thought he would do it." The musician added, "The funniest thing is that when the video was recorded, you can tell we were laughing." She claimed her ex-husband is not happy that she is leaving the marriage because of persistent abuses. She said she wanted to pursue a music career, which he was not in support of. It's Tiffany alleged that he threatens me. "He lets my son send me voice notes. I never ever in a million years thought a guy that I had lived with, married to for 7 years, carried your baby for 9 months, pushed the baby out, would ever do that. Even if you are bitter about me, think about it in the next 3 to 4 years when your son is a big boy." She revealed that their son is currently with him in the UK and alleges that her son has been brainwashed to hate her. The pretty Neke Neke singer admitted that because she was married to him, she wasn't thinking when he was recording the videos, but now she leaves everything to God.
And I think the issues of leaked sex tapes on the screens recently should be a piece of lesson to all of us. No matter how much you love somebody, please don't do it, because you may never know when you guys are breaking up and what next the person is going to do with the video or picture he or she has of you. So that's it for entertainment with me, Grace Hamwa Asari. Our Other Reports is up next.
And on the international front, government and rebel forces have clashed in 3 states in South Sudan just days after their leaders agreed to unconditionally end fighting. A rebel spokesman blamed the government for attacking their positions, including oil fields. But the army accused the rebels of restarting the conflict, saying the attacks were repelled. Now on Friday, regional body IGAD gave the 2 sides a 15-day deadline to end conflict or risk a ban. Now, in Japan, the leaders of China and Japan have met for formal talks after more than 2 years of severe tension over a territorial dispute. Chinese President Xi Jinping and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe met on the sidelines of Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in Beijing. And that's it for the news evening. Before we go, let's take a recap of some of the headlines that make topical reading tonight. Doctors threaten mass resignation as Labour threatens to abandon negotiations. Local woodworkers express disappointment in the double standards of President Mahama. And no political commitment to fight corruption in Ghana, Dr. Induma says. So join us again tomorrow morning at exactly 6 a.m. as we bring you some more updated news. But remember to log on to our news website, www.firstdigitalghana.com, for some more news. My name is Alfred Okansi. On behalf of the rest of the team, thank you for watching and good evening.
There's a lot of rain. People are scattering all over the place looking for shelter.
The pavement and the shoulders of the road have been engulfed in filth.
But we are yet to see the better Ghana that he wanted us to have as a country.
And behind me, this is a park of refuge.
These are the issues that we talk about. The ordinary Ghanaian, as you would want to call them. At First Digital News, we pay attention to the detail. It's 100% facts, zero sensationalism. First Digital News, we tell the Ghanaian story in its entirety.
Oh God. Are you serious?
What?
Why?
Trying to shine me.
As a Ghanaian, it is your duty to keep your environment clean. You know that?
That's why I pay taxes. I expect Okovandakwa and his people to be doing this, not me.
Listen, it is an equal responsibility. How do you think the cholera and the other staffs develop?
Oh, Massa.
Look, I am not moving an inch until you come back for that thing.
Okay.
Let us be each other's keeper and keep our city and our nation clean for a healthier Ghana. This message is by kind courtesy of the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and supported by the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association.
This is Nane Foa. She's thinking about how to cover her university education in the future. Mr. Sari is so confused about how to list his company on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Atta is a organizer and is wondering how to expand his business someday.
Do you want to buy shares on the Ghana Stock Exchange? Or probably sell your shares? Are you interested in investing in treasury bills? Have you been thinking about listing your company on the Ghana Stock Exchange? Talk to GN Investment today. You can reach GN Investment on 030-9788-3819.
Efforts parents learned from GN Investment how they can invest money to pay for her university tuition. GN Investment helps Mr. Asare with market research, company valuation, and how to list his company on the Ghana Stock Exchange. GN Investments visits Atta and advises him on how to grow his small business.
At GN Investment, we proudly say that we invest with discipline.
Good evening and welcome to Ghana Great and Strong Saturday night with Dr. Papa Kofindom. My name is Richmond Lampe and today I am a guest host. In fact, Dr. Endom was supposed to have hosted this show and it's a special edition that was going to last, or is still going to last for 2 hours. But because of some technical issues, he's unable to be with us now, but we are trying to get him, and when he comes, he will be part of this program and then we will take it from here. And so tonight, stay with us till 9 p.m. when we are discussing pensions and what it is that is doing to Ghana, or what Ghana is doing to it. The guests who are with me to discuss the issue today is Mr. Daniel Kweku Dente. He's the Vice President of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers Ghana. And then we have Mr. Emmanuel Ewuku Dagbano, who is the Education and Training Manager of the National Pensions Regulations Authority. And we have Mrs. Victoria Ama, who is the head of PenTrust. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And we should apologize for the late start of the program. We'll go on anyway. We hope that you forgive us. As we go on, we'll announce the telephone line and the WhatsApp line so that you can be part of this discussion. Now, quickly, my guest host put something together that he wanted to talk about, and he was saying that when he was a minister, a few years ago, Minister of Economic Planning and Regional Cooperation, he signed a memorandum to Cabinet on the 9th of December 2002 for the approval of the principle of long-term savings tied to retirement. Now he asked Cabinet to approve the principle of introducing long-term savings plans in Ghana and authorize the following steps leading to their implementation in the year 2003. And one was confirmation of the existing long-term savings committee as the implementation committee. 2 is the tax-exempt provision associated with the plans to be submitted to Parliament for approval after the necessary consultation with the Ministers of Justice and Attorney General and Finance. And then 3 is the inclusion of the savings plans in the 2003 budget